What episode is this?
Is it 7?
7.
Hey, we are staying strong because there's not many people that have done 7 in a row.
No.
And we
have not missed 1 week.
have not missed 1 week.
Even with the racket of the stairs being built during our last one.
Yes.
That's what it takes to push through that valley of disappointment. It's just consistent effort. Boom, and we're going to get there. This week, we got something very special. You want to introduce our guest, Liza?
Yes, he is a amazing leader. He has taught many about real estate. He has been living in Hawaii. He did a Mormon mission. He is an amazing speaker himself. He has spoken at a high school, and he has two beautiful children. He is married, and he is just had a 29th birthday celebration. His name is Aaron Zwahlen. Welcome to the pod.
Not bad. His birthday in Hawaii and just pot roast and
It's been a great week.
How was Hawaii?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
We went to Kauai for 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
4 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
what
It
was that?
beautiful.
Was that a vacation or a wedding or?
So we actually got invited for our friend's birthday. It was him and his wife. They turned 40.
Oh, that's
And they're actually good friends with my sister and her husband. And so we kind of got adopted into that friend group. And
That's cool.
That's where you went to
invited
school,
us.
right?
Yeah. So I went to UH. It's on Oahu. And we went to Kauai, so it's different. When I was in Hawaii, we didn't travel, to the Big Island or Kauai or Maui. We just kind of stayed on Oahu. So it was good to kind of see different part of.
Come back as a
Hawaii.
tourist instead of someone who lived there and had to go to school and drive to the same spot every day.
Yeah.
Hawaii, how far is that from Oahu? Is that not?
I think each of the islands are probably like a 30-minute flight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And that's one of the bigger islands? Or
Kauai is
Smaller.
It's like more rural. Yeah. It's
my
more
best
rural.
friend lives there.
Really?
Yeah,
That's where you
and
went.
so she
man.
actually did the rum tour out there, and she said it was so fun. Like
The rum tour.
pigs come out, and like you get to. She's not an animal person, but once you get rum in your system, apparently you become one.
Oh yeah, I'd be hanging on pigs all day. I feel like a sailor.
did you go to Kauai too?
I haven't yet, so I'm
You were
glad.
just there last month?
Yeah.
Or?
No, like 3 months ago, I think. In
You're
You're to
December.
Oahu, right?
Yeah. So I'm going actually this month.
Where are you going?
Big Island.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
One of my best friends lives in the Big Island. I just talked to him yesterday. He
Oh my
FaceTimed me.
goodness, that's
He was giving me a
wild.
hard time. He was like, "You look like a tourist." And all those pictures that because we had we had different themes. Like
Right.
it was a big
Oh,
group of us.
that's
There were
cute.
14, so there were 7 couples that
Oh
made it to the
wow,
trip.
that's
Yeah.
a bash.
Whoa.
That's not
It was
just a
sick.
big. That's a bash, dude.
And, like,
Whoa.
The group we went with, they were super cool. Like they're a lot older than us. We were the youngest by far.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And every night, like we had a wig night theme, we had a neon day theme, we had an all black theme, we had a matching with your couple.
That
theme.
is cool.
So like we'd go out to
That's
eat.
cool.
Yeah, we'd go out to eat and like
Oh,
we'd
that's
all have
awesome.
wigs on, or we'd all be in all black, or we'd have.
I love this.
matching
I need to see the
set.
pictures.
I know, I didn't see it.
Did you post them?
I didn't. No, I need to post
You're
like
gonna
That's
have
why-
to. Yeah, you're gonna have to. Oh my
And
goodness.
so yeah, it was a good time.
What the heck?
So at your time in Hawaii for college,
Mhm.
you were an athlete.
Yeah.
How was that?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't left home,
Mm-hmm.
like if someone doesn't want to go to college, like that's fine. But
Yeah.
if you have a chance to go leave somewhere and go somewhere like that, especially,
Yeah.
or somewhere like anywhere that's far away from home,
Right.
like the learning, the friends, the the experience that you get from being that far from home
Yeah.
and just diving on into something is special.
100%.
Yeah,
I
so
do
it was-
recommend that too.
It
You've
was a
done
cool
it a few
experience.
times.
Yeah.
All
So I
of
started
them.
before that. I was in Maryland
Yeah.
by myself for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And then
What were you doing out there?
a mission for the church. Yeah. So I was out knocking doors,
Yeah.
Got it.
trying to baptize people to.
I didn't know that you were in Maryland. I thought it started all in Hawaii.
No, so after high school, so the church mission basically when you turn 18 now, men can go on missions for the church,
Whoa.
and so they basically you submit an application to be a missionary,
Mhm.
and the church leaders decide where to send you. So you don't have a choice. You don't pick your top 10.
And you pay to do this.
Yeah,
You
yeah, you
pay
pay.
to go, and then you're building the church, and you're also contributing to the church, right?
Yeah.
And strengthening your own faith through your own actions. Right?
Yeah.
That's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
essentially?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
And it's a service-based thing. Like, you kind of, you want to do it. You don't, it's not forced or,
Right.
but it's it's got to be your own decision.
So not just Maryland, were you in Baltimore or the surrounding areas of Baltimore?
So Baltimore was like the hub.
Yeah.
I started in like rural Virginia.
Right.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And kind of worked my way around to downtown.
That had to have been dicey at times, knocking on doors in Baltimore.
Right.
And you don't know who's going to
sure.
answer. If
100%.
some people probably hated the fact that you were knocking on the door.
Yeah, the sketchier parts of town though, like when you got around, different kind of people that you're not used to being around, like they really respect church people.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like I never felt like in danger.
Okay.
There were a lot of stories of like,
Yeah.
gang members, like, helping missionaries find the bikes that got stolen or helping,
No.
people like that.
We grew up in the hood, and there's a lot more community and a lot more, like, everyone goes to church together.
Yeah.
100%.
If someone's parents are at work, they're eating at their the neighbor's house, and they're just, I can picture that.
So you're coming in as a service to serve the community, and so they recognize that. They felt that from you guys, and
Yeah, and we stick out like sore thumbs. Like we have a white
Absolutely.
tie on, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
a name badge, and like 18, 19-year-old boys just walking around the streets of Baltimore.
Were you still 6, whatever you were?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was even wider. Like, I was wider.
If there was something to transition from that into real estate, that's the most experience you get. All
Dude,
that
seriously.
rejection.
Yeah, I mean that's with any
uncomfortable
business.
conversation.
Dude,
Yeah.
seriously.
Got that thick skin.
His cold calling was A+.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why his cold calling was A+ though is because if you pick up the phone and Aaron's on the other end of it, you get this immediate sense that this guy is special. Like he cared. Like he's not just trying to get me to do something. He wants to help me solve a problem.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like not everyone, even in the Mormon mission, would be that successful because there's obviously some people probably had different views on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people probably
Yeah.
felt like, dragging their feet, or like, I want to go home. Was that?
Yeah. So when I went the first year I was on my mission, they changed the age to where you can go when you're 18. Before it had been 19.
19.
Oh,
And so
wow.
like my graduating class was the first time. It was in 2013.
Okay.
The previous October of 2012, they changed the rule to where you can go when you're 18.
Whoa.
And so most men would go to college for a year. They'd go, work for a year, do something for a year to be away from home.
Yeah.
we just went from home, mom and dad, to
Yeah.
Whoa.
to
Yeah.
being
Culture
with people
shock.
you don't know, culture shock,
Mhm.
knocking on doors.
Yeah. It was different, but like you grow up quick.
Yeah.
Like it teaches you like, okay,
Amazing.
no one's here to help you. Like
No.
we could call home twice a year.
Right. I was gonna say it's not like
It's
you can
very
pick up.
similar to the military. Yeah,
Oh,
I got
wow.
a lot of, you can write letters and email once a week,
Yeah.
but like phone calls, Mother's Day, Christmas, that's it.
Right.
Wow.
And now it's changed. It's
Yeah.
different now. Now they have Facebook. Now they FaceTime like every Monday. So it's all different now.
Yeah.
Now
But
it's
back
a lot.
Yeah, they got
So
it good now.
stringent.
Yeah,
So
you're like
stringent.
these new
Yeah.
schools, they don't, but like I can imagine what that does, because that really does put in perspective. Like it's a
Gives you
transition
confidence.
into adulthood.
It really is.
Right.
Like Julian just mentioned the schedule of it. Like you're with a companion. You're with somebody 24/7.
Whoa.
And so they keep you in check,
Okay.
right? Like you can't go with, they said within sight and sound of them.
Yeah,
You don't have any time by yourself.
yeah,
And you're up at 6:30. You're studying the scriptures by, I think it was like 7 or 7:30.
Wow.
You have a lunch, and then after lunch you go out and prospect. Yeah.
And it was,
it's very similar.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's
very similar to that.
And that
what we
was
do
a true
right now.
testament to your faith, because you put a lot on hold too. You had a lot going for you. You had a bunch of scholarships for football. You put everything on hold and went out and did what you had to do, and then picked up from there.
Yeah. To 2 schools, they even pulled their scholarships back because of the mission.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But when you believe in something that much, and it's that important to you, I mean,
Yeah, and I had older siblings too. I had 4 older brothers, and they all went on missions. And,
Yeah.
you can see the difference when I was young, but when they go and come back,
Yeah.
like
you
the
saw
maturity level,
right,
the benefit
you
of
want
the
that.
service and just helping people. It was something that I wanted to do for sure.
That's
Wow.
And
What?
experiencing
No.
that structure and that sacrifice kind of probably taught you, as something that we all tried to learn and work on with books we read and things. I'm sure it mirrors that. The structure and all of that is what gives you more freedom later, and when because you do the work up front and you stick to what you're going to say you're going to do. So that just started from that young age and was able to transfer on to, you being an entrepreneur, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the principle of like delayed gratification, just knowing that whatever sacrifices you make now, like there's going to be a cost. And at what cost is it? Is it now? Do you pay for that now, or do you wait until you're 50, 60, 70 to pay the cost? And that's with anything. That's with fitness. It's with with health, with money, with education. Like you can pay the cost now, or you can wait and pay it pay it later.
And it's exactly like a sales pitch. They'll tell you, hey, pay cash up front, you save 30%.
Yep.
Pay over time, it's going to cost you more. That does model life. Just think about anything: business, your marriage, fitness. If you're not suffering now, you're going to suffer later in greater quantities.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to some people get to go to Europe and all over the world when they're like, you're going to Baltimore?
Yeah, so like I said, my brothers. Well, my dad went to Japan.
Okay.
So he came back fluent in Japanese.
Oh man.
What?
Studied Japanese in college.
Are you
yeah.
serious?
So
And you come back from Baltimore and listen to hip hop.
You're Ray Lewis.
You listen to hip hop.
No.
Exactly. Yeah, I fit in well.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about hip hop.
Yeah. That's very important.
Yeah, my brothers, they all went Spanish speaking. So my oldest brother went to El Salvador.
Whoa.
Wow.
And that was in the 90s when it was like Civil War situation going on.
Yeah.
My next brother went to Monterrey, Mexico.
Oh, nice.
And then my next brother went to Nicaragua. And then my closest brother went to Madrid, Spain.
Whoa.
It's like they all came back speaking Spanish.
That's
and,
wild.
And it's like, Baltimore English speaking.
Yeah.
So, but no, I was like, I knew it was the right place. A lot of it this fits.
Yeah. Who's your favorite artist? Talking about hip hop. Now I want to talk about hip hop.
Favorite artist.
Yeah.
I know YG's in there.
They were talking
Is he
about
in there?
you
Is
have
he
a
in there?
favorite song, and I forgot. You told me a few times.
Palmdale by Afro Man is my favorite.
Oh, that's right. Afro Man.
But
That's
like
what
as far as
it was.
favorite artists go, like that's tough. There's a lot. Like Eminem's on there.
Yeah, you gotta.
Luke Combs is on there.
Luke Combs.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, he's stuck in there recently. I went and
Yeah.
saw him live like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
And it was like the best concert.
Was it?
Oh, he came out like ready to sing. He was already sweating, and it was in Lake Tahoe. Like,
Yeah.
he was just, and he performed. Like he was just a performer.
Nice.
I haven't seen Eminem live,
It's hard
That
to.
would be
He only
crazy.
tours like Europe and Detroit.
but it depends on my mood,
Yeah, right.
Like Lil Wayne's on there too.
Lil Wayne,
Yeah, YG for sure is on
YG's
there.
on
You
there.
like
I've
lyrical?
heard
I
of
noticed
him.
you like lyrical artists.
Yeah.
For sure.
Lil Wayne, Young Jeezy, or YG, Eminem,
Luke
yeah,
Combs,
very
Morgan
lyrical.
Wallen. I mean, like country rap.
Mm,
It depends on the
Yeah.
mood too. Like
Yeah.
I can listen to both.
You got a wide range.
Yeah.
All right, so you were playing high school football. You did well. You got scholarships. You went to Baltimore for your mission.
Mhm.
You finished that up. Then what happens?
Yeah, so then I had the decision to kind of honor my commitment to Hawaii because I decided to go there after high school.
Okay.
And the mission, once you go on a mission, you can come back and kind of be a free agent. So like had a coaching change happen or my situation happened, I could have gone somewhere else and played somewhere else. And I thought about going to Washington State to play for Mike Leach. And looking back, like a football decision, that probably would have been best because my first year at Hawaii, Norm Chow got fired.
Gotcha.
That's right.
Yeah, so that was kind of a bummer. I went there to Hawaii basically to play for him, play with him. He is an offensive guru, Norm Chow that is. And so 7 games in, I think it was after our Air Force game, we got blown out and he got fired.
Ah, shoot.
And they've changed the rules now in college football where like the athletes can transfer a lot easier and be in the transfer portal and do all that.
Oh,
So that
you could
was
have got some NIL money back then.
that was different too then. So
Yeah.
so then I played at Hawaii for 2 years and then transferred to Southern Utah and played there for 2 years.
Oh,
But
cool.
Hawaii changed your life.
You
Yeah.
went to fun there.
Yeah. So tell us
Exactly.
about that.
Yeah, so my second year at Hawaii, one of my good friends from when I grew up in high school, I knew her from another friend, and she was coming to Hawaii for vacation, and she was like, "Hey, my friend Lauren's coming out with me. Like, I'd love you to meet her." And I was like, "Heck yeah, let's do it." So they came out during the summer. We were less busy with football, and I was like, "Oh, we should go on this hike." So there's a pretty cool hike right by the campus, and so I picked him up in my car, and we drove to Manoa Falls in Manoa, which was It's the University of Hawaii at Manoa because it's in the Manoa Valley. And anyway, so that Lauren girl that I mentioned, she's my wife now.
Wow.
That's how I met.
That is wild. If you didn't do everything you did.
Right.
And then what's crazy is she lived close to you already.
Yeah, she grew up in Tillamook, like went to
her on a little. Do you think you guys would have met if it wasn't the Hawaii situation?
No.
That is
I don't think so.
destiny.
We may have like crossed paths.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We went to some of the same parties in high school, actually.
Yeah.
That's
But
so funny.
never
Never
met.
seen each other.
Yeah.
actually
It
met.
took
Yeah.
a 5-hour plane flight and thousands and thousands of miles.
That's awesome.
So everything you did led you to your
That's
wife
true.
and 2
Yeah.
daughters, and
Yeah.
so
And so we went back to that same waterfall.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, for a honeymoon. And we shared our vows under the water.
Oh my!
Yeah.
So how many years has it been now since you guys have been
It'll
married?
be 6 years in
Oh
in
my
May.
goodness!
Yeah, thank you.
And what would you say is one of the biggest things that helps have a successful marriage?
I would say communication.
Mm.
There's never too much, whether it's like what your day looks like. At dinner, we've done this new thing that we share like our favorite parts of the day and our least favorite parts of the day,
Mm-hmm.
Similar with the huddle that we had on the team, just
Yeah.
talking, always communicating. It's hard to have like bad feelings when you're talking about everything.
Yeah.
And so
That's
I would
so
say
true.
you can't really over communicate with your spouse or
Yeah.
with family.
It's funny. I've learned this lesson in depth by playing more video games with my wife. My wife loves gaming. She's super into like the shooter games, the battle royale games, Fortnite, and like all that stuff. So I play with her, and it makes us a team. And when we're playing the games we win, we're communicating. We're telling each other what we're doing. Even if we're disagreeing, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
The games where we're not doing well is when we stop talking and we get separated and we're doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, oh, that's so indicative of a relationship. If you
Yeah.
think you're just gonna like bulldoze and like I'm gonna do my own thing, and if there's not integration and communication, like you're in for some trouble. Like,
Yeah.
And that's the same with like football too, like bringing
Yeah.
football into it, Life is a game, right?
Yeah.
Like gaming is a game, football is a game.
Yeah.
And like those are in all those things, communication is key. How do I know to guard a certain guy if I'm not telling my teammate I got him? Or
Yeah.
how does my receiver know where to run if I'm not telling him where to run? And
these are like the building blocks of what people would call chemistry,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
The building blocks of chemistry are, I feel like, communication and taking cues from one another and understanding each other in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right. So that's describing. If someone says, "Oh, chemistry," like communication is a huge key to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got married, you have your family, and then what led you into starting this real estate venture?
Yeah, so I remember like sitting in the bathroom stall, like playing football and like watching videos and like listening to podcasts about real estate. And I just, just growing up, like you just know there's so many opportunities with real estate. You can be an agent, you can invest, you can be a mortgage broker, you can be a property manager, you can, do whatever. You can develop, you can finance, you can do whatever you want with real estate.
Sell
So-
notes. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I understood the opportunity and the freedom that can come from real estate and financial freedom, time freedom, all that stuff. And I got into sales out of college, and I had a sales job. I did medical device sales for about a year, and it was eye opening. You realize when you do something that you don't want to do it for a long time, and that was that situation. Like I was like, I cannot do this forever. Just with the schedule, with what's demanded, it's a pretty demanding job.
Working with surgeons is
It is, yeah. There's a lot on the line for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to see a surgery, right?
Oh yeah, I was in surgeries all
Ooh.
day.
Not just
That's
see, but
cool.
he's helping instruct the surgeon right on how to use the
Yeah.
equipment and how to put the screw where it goes.
That's
Right.
Yeah. There were some situations where like, I had to kind of instruct a surgeon like how to use the tool, like where to angle it was a bicep tendon that had been torn, and it was a button that we used that you like drill through the bone and it flips in the back end, and then it kind of suture it down. And it was in Sonora, and
Oh my.
and you walk, but it was like successful, and he was like super happy. Like
Yeah.
it turned out great.
Right.
And so those are really rewarding. Those kind of surgeries
Yeah.
when like you help the surgeon and the patient. But there's also situations where I've I forgot to put a certain plate inside of a clavicle repair.
Oh my goodness.
And they had to use that one plate. There's like 30 plates in the plate that I forgot to put in there. Yeah. And so like they had to open up a different box and like use a different plate. It was stressful. So
wow.
Did everything go okay?
Yeah, I just got chewed out, but it was okay.
Yeah.
So, they just had to use a different product. Like my company didn't make any money on it.
They want a refund.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They couldn't use his kit.
Right. So, and then I met with Seth. I knew that Seth was in real estate. My wife's sister and Seth's wife are really good friends, and I knew he was doing the investing side. And that's what really interested me. So I hit him up, and that was when the team was really small.
You actually got a deal before, like on your own. You got an investment deal on your own before you started anything. Yeah,
I did. I was living in SoCal, and I just started cold calling people. Like I knew, like, okay, I want to try it. I just want to start. So I got Mojo in like 2000.
Oh my goodness.
17 or 18. Got a list of, I forget, I think it was like absentee owned high equity lists, and I was like, I'm just gonna start calling it. And I got a lady up in Sacramento. Yeah. And I got under contract, found a buyer, like it was going to be a $25,000 wholesale fee. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. But the issue was the road to the house was here and the house was over here, but between the road and the house, there was a railroad. And so like there was a big easement issue and the buyer backed out. And, it kind of fell apart.
But that really opened your eyes to like, okay, this is
like, I can do this.
Yeah, like when you're all, I don't know what I was making then, probably like $50,000 or $60,000, and like when you can look at making $25,000 in one deal.
Right. You were doing that right after you would get off work and then go cold call, right?
Yeah. This is before we had kids, and I would just sit outside Starbucks in my car.
Yeah, that's wild.
And just have my computer open and cold call for a couple hours.
Oh my goodness.
Then after that, you joined the team shortly after with. Who was there? Me and Steph, Eliza, Jillian, Johnny weren't there yet.
No,
that was back to
original.
Steph, Steph, Cameron Albert, and then I think Mike.
Mike.
That was the.
I remember.
Mike recruited me. He recruited me.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
I was there when it was like the second evolution. There was like 6 or 7 people there when I came to the team, and then it shrank and did its thing. But yeah, I remember those early days. And I remember meeting you, and like one thing I want to say from that story about just deciding, hey, I like real estate. I've accomplished a lot of things, and I'm gonna I know I can do this. Winners are gonna win, right? It doesn't matter the vehicle really. A lot of people stress how should I pick this or should I be like a real estate agent or a mortgage broker? Picking is more important than what you pick. What you say is just committing to it.
That Prius is going to get through. It's going to get through.
Yes. I feel like you just took that mentality and kind of proved it. Didn't have a lot of experience. You had uninformed optimism, and then you just still made it happen even after you hit 2 hours. Your first 2 hours at Starbucks, you couldn't have got a lot of people who were interested the first session, right?
Sure.
Why didn't you quit right after that? That first session, some people are good at cold calling. I guess I'm not.
You and I have talked about this, the no's. Knowing that you get a certain amount of no's, you're going to get a yes eventually.
You knew
it's just a matter of time. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
And he just came from Baltimore where he was.
Less yeses there than
yeah.
But yeah, you just know, like you said, I knew I was going to make it happen. You know? And it didn't happen in my timing. It really didn't. I wish it would have happened sooner.
Yeah.
But it's kind of good that it didn't. Everything happens for a reason. And I feel like we try and put time on our side.
Yeah.
When we have little control over what, when the timing is that the success happens. And it might not even be yet. We might not even be in our own head. We might think we're successful, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And so that, to me, that was big. Just not worrying about the timing. Just knowing that it was all going to work out.
Perform the activities that you know are going to make the difference, right?
Yeah. There's always going to be a job.
Yeah.
You're always going to have a job. But if you can ever bet on yourself and, take a leap, then you should do it,
I agree.
That's what we've all done. One life, and if you stick in the boxes that you think you're supposed to be in, you're going to wake up one day and not be happy.
Well, not only just thinking that box that you're supposed to be in, but the box that other people think you're supposed to be in.
That's a big,
the collective everyone.
I feel like you just kind of went through an expansion of like, changing your box or getting out of the box.
Out of the box.
Yeah. Step out of the box if you can.
Yeah.
And that's a common saying, but when you really think about it, it brings a good point that like we do put these imaginary walls around us. Like, the time frame. Like, I want it to happen faster, and you'll cause yourself torment by rules that you created to impose on yourself. In reality, no one else is really worrying about how fast you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big notable thing.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest flaws is like my limiting beliefs.
Okay.
Just on myself, like in my head, like what I believe. I might express outward confidence or sales skills, but it's all kind of in front of my own beliefs that I've had to kind of overcome.
How do you? What's your process when it comes to identifying a limiting belief and overcoming it?
A lot of it comes from reading.
Reading
other people's experiences of like their own journey. Okay. Like I'm reading this book right now. It's called the Almanac of Naval Ravikant.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of him or heard that book, but he's like a tech guy.
Okay.
Billionaire now. And he writes a lot about, and it's actually someone else writing kind of for him through all of his tweets and all of his dialogue and stuff like that. But just about like doing what makes you happy, and like just self-confidence and just inner peace, building wealth, but also like maintaining inner peace.
Okay.
Which is hard, but he's done it. And Michael Burnoff talks about similar stuff of just like,
yes, huge shout out to Michael Burnoff.
Oh yeah, massive shout out.
Yeah, massive shout out. Love you, Michael.
But just like not making what you want too hard, like making it, like for example, fitness. Like don't put these expectations that are just like impossible out there. Which that's what the world we live in is impossible reality. Right?
Yeah,
like it's. We see on Instagram or Facebook of like people that are just ripped and they're eating McDonald's and it's like, wait a minute, I eat McDonald's too,
Yeah.
But just like, okay, I ate healthy today.
Yeah.
Or like I worked out today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like doing, it's not what does Michael Burnoff say? Like it's not ands, it's ors.
Right.
Or not it's ors, but it's ands. Like
yes.
We try and make success do like a trip. It's like and this and that and this. It's like no, I did this or that or I
right. That's
meditate for a half hour.
I remember that training where he goes through. Yeah, a lot of us will say, okay, today I want to like make my bed and go to the gym and eat healthy and make my sales calls and take my kids into bed. That's a whole string. Like if you were betting, that would be called. That's like a prop bet or not a prop bet.
Parlay.
A parlay. That's a huge parlay.
Right.
The odds of hitting all those in a row every single day, if you're not already there, you're just already saying, well, I'm gonna fail.
Yeah.
But Michael Brown says, okay, this or this or this. Give yourself individual opportunities instead of one lump thing that you got to do all through.
Yeah, and it's not about like being easy on yourself or anything like that. It's about if you feel good about what you're doing, you're going to want to do more of it. Versus if you're beating yourself up with the criticism, then why even start?
Essentially, if you believe you're failing, you're failing. No, like that's the point. And if you
believe you're striving towards adding.
If you believe you're successful, you're going to be more successful, and you're going to be identified with that more and want to perform those activities even more. You're aligning. It's like the guy in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, who he was severely overweight, and he went to the gym, and not only did he say, okay, I only have to go for 5 minutes a day. He said, I'm only allowed to be in that gym for 5 minutes a day when he started. He had to go, do half a set, and leave. Mm-hmm. And people were like, that's doing nothing for you. That's doing nothing. He was lifting the hardest weight to lift, and that's the front door.
Yep.
He was the type of person who, after 2 months, he had not missed a day because he knows I can go 5 minutes and go home. That's so easy.
Yeah.
He lost 100 pounds and kept it off his whole life doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like a guy texted me yesterday, one of my good friends, and he saw pictures of my wife and I in Hawaii, and he was like, man, I want to get fit. Like I have a goal to lose 25 pounds. And I'm like, 25 pounds sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
It does. But like 3 pounds of weight every week for 8 weeks, that's 100% more doable.
Yes.
Like if you just focus on just 3 pounds a week, which is, what is that, a half pound a day? Not even. Less than that. And so you can really accomplish a lot when you break it down into chewable pieces.
Yeah.
And then scale up.
Mm-hmm.
And then scale up after that. Like once you have a foundation, scaling up is much easier.
And so that goes like to anyone that's like doing real estate for the first time or like trying real estate. Like if you think, oh man, if I do a deal, that's just so hard. Like it's hard to do my first deal. But it's like, okay, what does a deal consist of? Like you got to talk to a seller.
Right.
Yeah.
How do I get in front of a seller? You can go door off. You can get in front of sellers right now for free.
100%.
You can make phone calls. You can send mail. You can do all this. And so just pick one of those.
Yeah.
Talk to a certain amount of sellers, and you'll get a yes. It's just kind of.
And if you have a limiting belief, man, chunk it down because like, okay, I'm gonna call someone and they're gonna hate me. Okay, well, break it down. Can you pick up the phone physically? Yes. That like a toddler can do that. Can you punch the numbers? Yes. Can you get yelled at and not die? Yes. So you can do all yes, then you can do it. Like that's how my mind works.
I think too, people they want to know everything all up front.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you learn as you go.
You're not going to know everything.
And you're not going to know everything up front.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if that's your limiting, well, I've got to know this. I've got to know this before I can do this.
Yeah.
You're not going to go anywhere.
Right. You're not going to find out until you do that. And that's the thing. You in that, I remember being that. I remember seeing people when I started real estate who were closing deals. And I remember Jan Devers had this conversation with me. And she's like, Johnny, like you want to know things so fast. And she put it in an interesting perspective. She's like, why would you have knowledge that I spent 20 years to get? Like,
Right.
that it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Why would you think you could get something without buying it? Knowledge is the same way. Like you're not just gonna have it. And I was like, oh, you got to pay down your ignorance debt.
Right.
You guys might think this is stupid, but like I'm trying to fill out my first MLS profile sheet today,
Really?
and I'm like, gosh, this is like, how do I do that?
Oh yeah.
And you guys are like, nah, I do this every week. And
Yeah.
it's
You
like,
need help.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know, like it's just like, there's two separate
There's
parcels.
so much more
Yeah.
paperwork in the
Yeah.
traditional
To
side.
be fair, that form is gnarly.
No, that is a wild
And I printed it out only in black and white. I'm like, Francis, which ones do I have to fill out? She's
Oh,
like, oh,
it's
here's the
like-
ones that are red. I'm like, oh gosh. And I'm like, and I had to highlight all of them. I'm like, I'm still figuring this out.
They'll have a little R.
You're going
I
through.
know. Steve,
Remember,
I'd like-
you have to do that form, Aaron.
You're
Yeah.
going through everything we went through, and Steph, Jan, and Francis has probably got annoyed with us.
Oh,
Because we
yeah.
launched-
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather you
Nonstop.
ask than us have to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Ask.
Yeah.
That's a simple thing.
But see, that's a good point. Is that like it's new to you?
Yeah.
But you're like, okay, can I take it one question at a time, find out the answer, and put pen to paper and write it?
Yeah.
And
You
then I
guided
can
a
fill the
surgeon
form out.
through.
Yeah.
You guided a surgeon through a
Literally.
A knee repair.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of things are, a lot of things are tough.
You can do
Like I
that.
had to help the seller through the eviction because she's evicting
That's way
her,
harder.
her brother and her son.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so it's like, and I sat down with her and I was like the 60 day notice. I was like, I don't really know what this is. And I was like with her, and I was like kind of trying to like do it on the fly.
Yeah. Been
And I was
there.
like, hey, like we're doing pictures right now. Like, I'm gonna come back.
Yes.
And, like it's good to have those moments of like just humility and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
you shouldn't look perfect. Like,
It's
No,
the
yeah.
best
you're in front of-
experience possible.
If you don't know,
Yeah.
like Steph said, just ask. Like
Just
it's
ask.
never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should never be above that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, in real estate, these awkward moments are the best type of experience because you realize, oh, I don't ever want to do that again or be in this situation or something
Yeah.
like that.
Teaches you.
Yeah. But also, it is when you do something hard, the next hard thing becomes easier.
Yes.
Handing her son his eviction notice in front of her and like saying, hey, like this is a notice to vacate. He's basically homeless, living in the back in like an RV.
Oh, it's tough.
And so it was just like it's emotional for her, but like doing that, it makes you obviously grateful for what you have, but also like just knowing like this is a hard thing, but
gotta
after
have
hard
things.
things come good things, and
Right.
it's
And that's another Michael Burnoff thing. If you don't have any hard things going on, go seek something out that's
Yeah.
on your list that you're scared of.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, you
Yes.
should always be testing.
I've been slacking
yourself.
on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I need to think of a hard thing to do. We should all do that.
Go to Hawaii. There's this cliff that it's called Shipwreck Beach. Okay,
That's good.
this is a story. Okay, so
Okay.
on what was this Thursday last week? We go to this beach, and one of the guys we're with is like, yeah, like my brother-in-law went and he jumped off. He liked the beginner, and then he was like, yeah, but it was a little bit too high for me, so like I didn't do it. It's like a 40-foot cliff. Like it's a pretty legit
That's what I'm
cliff.
talking about.
And we get there, and there's like no one jumping off of it. Like people are kind of hiking around up there and not jumping. They're just kind of like walking back, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of sketchy. Like if someone else is jumping, like I'm down to jump.
Yeah,
My
I want to
gosh.
see it first.
And so there's this local guy there that's selling coconuts. And so I go up to the coconut guy. Yeah, I even have the sticker on my backpack. my wife put the sticker on her phone, and it says, "I bust nuts all day." That's pretty funny.
That's an Islander sticker.
So I go up to the coconut guy, and I'm like, "Hey, like I want to jump off this cliff. Like, is it safe? Like, are we good to jump off?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, it'll be fine." He's like, "Just there's a point where the cliff comes to. Just go right to the point. Don't go left. Don't go right. Just go to the point." He was confident though. Like he wasn't like the tide's a little low. Like he was like, "No, yeah, you'll be good." Yeah. And so I go back to the guys, and there's like 4 or 5 of us. And I'm like, "Hey, like this guy was like confident. Like let's go up there and check it out and jump off." Yeah. And so like I'm up there, and it's me. He's an orthopedic surgeon. This guy that we went with. It's my brother-in-law who just had open heart surgery in the end of November, beginning of December. And then there's a cop from Livermore.
Yeah.
There. It's like the 4 of us up there.
Oh,
and I'm like, okay, like I'm the youngest. Like I got kind of the, I'm okay if I bust my leg. Like I can jump. Like I'll be the first one to go. Like, I kind of like
you can make
offer myself.
Right.
Plus, I was like, I heard the guy how confident he was. Safe. I can't like convey that to someone else. Like, oh yeah, it's good. Like it's safe. Like I've never done it. And so I was like, I'll jump first.
Yeah.
And so I like looked down. I was like, oh, this is a little bit sketchy. But, like you can see the bottom of the ocean because like it's water, the Hawaii.
Okay.
Water
Right.
there. And so like those things that make you kind of scared, it's fun. And so I just went down there and jumped and. Yeah.
How did you feel flying through the
air?
I
felt great. And I was like, oh, then everyone else was super.
Then they all jumped, right?
Yeah, they all jumped. My brother-in-law, who just had open heart surgery, he called Annie, my sister, who's on the beach.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, can I jump? Like, I really want to do it. And he went up there and jumped.
Wow.
He got permission from his wife.
Wow.
That's why after open heart surgery, you got to get permission.
Did you
from your
guys
wife.
jump multiple times or just that one time?
Just that one time. I tried to get Lauren to go up there and jump, but she wouldn't do it. Yeah, I wanted to go back and jump.
But I think that leads us into a point, though, that we also learned at Michael Burnoff is when you do something, you are literally the person that shows a bunch of other people that it's okay, that you can do it too.
So true. Humans take cues from other humans on how to behave. That's how we learn what a human is. A baby's going to look around and do what people are doing. That's why they say you are the culmination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But that's a great point is when someone has the courage to do something that they know is going to be okay, other people will follow.
Absolutely.
That's also why as a leader you have to be very careful of your decisions. Because you can think you're making a decision for yourself, but you're really influencing other people as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're doing good, if you're doing bad, people will follow.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the time it's people that you don't even know are watching you.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy thing.
That is very true.
And we're all leaders too, like, not necessarily having to have like a leadership role, but like, like, being on my own now in real estate, like not being around a team and like I still have the responsibility of being a leader. Like even though there's no one to lead necessarily, but like I
the role doesn't change.
I lead my family, like
same actions.
Whether it's a 100-man operation or one guy in his basement starting Apple, a leader's a leader in the ag cycle all the time.
And in this book, the Almanac of Robert Kant, he talks about like how people that are happy will be followed, and like you're only happy if you're doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's like the importance of like doing what you want to do compared to like doing what you think others want you to do or what others think that you should do. Yeah. That doesn't make you happy. Like what makes you happy is doing what you want to do, and when you're happy, then others will want to be around you. They'll follow you. They'll be happy, and so that's important.
It's magnetic.
Yeah,
yes,
for sure. It is. The way to be liked is to like yourself.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't be liked unless you like yourself.
Yeah.
100%. Like truly, you.
Yeah.
You might, have jokes or like be funny, but I don't think you can truly,
Yeah.
It's a lot harder for sure to be liked to have that if you don't first like yourself.
Very true.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Time it up already? That was
anything you would final give off to people watching or any?
No, I just think what you guys are doing is awesome.
I appreciate
you guys as a team, it makes 100% sense. And doing this podcast, just being yourselves, doing what makes you happy, and I still want to see Johnny in a restaurant eventually. Like,
100%.
But
I think we might partner up one day, dude, in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Aaron's like, that's a bad investment.
If the food is right.
Yeah, if the food is right,
But
I'm at the restaurant business, not Johnny's food.
Oh, the restaurant business is definitely hard.
It is, but like do you have a specific kind of food that you'd like to make? Like,
Yes.
what is it?
The specific kind of food I like to make is like American barbecue or spicy food. So like Asian and Latin food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I do very well with gastropub style elevated bistro menus, like Southern California, like where you would go to a brewery and get a beer that they made there and a craft burger that was just out of this world. That's like my specialty.
And then add a dessert. My
Add a
daughter
dessert,
could
yes.
Do a really good dessert.
You
Anything
upscale it
that
a little
you
bit
need.
because I've done like 3 or 4 course dinners with food that you would actually eat and know what it is instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm all for like hot cuisine and like the Michelin star stuff, but most people they're gonna want to eat what they know.
Yeah.
So I find ways to take that and just bump it up.
Yeah.
And we've all
experienced it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all been amazing.
Yeah.
Question: which places did you go to in Kauai? Like, do you remember the names of them?
we went to Shipwreck Beach. We went and did a boat tour around the Nepali coast,
Nice.
which was unreal. Like,
Yeah.
if you guys get to go to Kauai, like, that coast is, like, they talked about on the boat tour. Like, so Kauai, I guess, was one of the only islands that didn't get conquered by,
Really?
like, King Kamehameha or any king.
Oh wow.
Because I guess a lot of the coastline is, like, only accessible via boat. And so, like, even if you get to the island, you can't, like, attack the Nepali coast because it's like cliffs on one side
Yeah.
and the ocean on the other side.
Really?
Crazy.
Yeah, and so it was super cool.
That's interesting. I want to look into that. That's
Oh my
pretty cool.
goodness.
Yeah. And then we did a tubing down a sugarcane canal.
Ooh.
They use the canals for like irrigating sugarcane.
That's cool.
What?
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of locals like out there like working and doing like I've never been to Hawaii. Is it? I picture it like different than here. I don't know why.
It is.
It is?
1000%.
Yeah. Okay. So like, what's it like? What are the locals like? What are they like? What's a typical job for an islander?
I don't know. A lot of
Is there
my
a
former
typical-
teammates. So a lot of my former teammates that I play with that are from Hawaii, like they do construction.
Construction.
Yeah, a lot of them do construction.
That's cool.
But like tourism is a big,
Okay.
it's a big.
It's like the hospitality industries and like
Yeah,
tours,
travel. Yeah,
travel.
anything with travel.
Yeah.
Probably restaurants. Certain restaurants do very, very well. I would.
Yeah,
assume.
yeah, hotels,
Yeah.
restaurants.
Are there
Yeah.
casinos in Hawaii? Is there any kind of gambling?
I don't know. I've never.
I'm just
seen
thinking about your infrastructure, not
Well, they
I'm trying to
say
plan my vacation.
they say Vegas is the is like was it the 8th or 7th? I don't know. I forget how many Hawaiian islands there are, but like they say it's like an extension of Hawaii.
Oh yeah, and there's
Really?
so many Hawaiians in Vegas.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
Really?
so
there's so many
many.
direct flights from
Yes.
Vegas to Hawaii.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Right, I like
and
Vegas.
speaking about
I'm
that,
going
I'm
to
going
Hawaii.
straight from Hawaii to Vegas.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you
yeah,
are?
yeah. So
Oh, you're going from Hawaii to the
Yeah.
R4?
Very
Yeah.
soon.
yeah, very
Wow.
soon. Very soon.
Wow, this is going to be a fun month for you.
It's gonna be a very
Yeah.
fun. And then on Thursday, I'm going to Burbank.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, there's this really good restaurant, not restaurant, it's a bakery called Papillon Bakery. And it's specialized in Armenian sweets and breads.
Awesome.
So I'm going to bring some back for you guys.
Yes.
Let me know.
Yeah.
I'll come by.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And Aaron, I just want to say thank you for all the times that you've always like mentored me and just like shared
Seriously.
your time
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
wisdom with all of us because I feel like every time I've ever asked you a question, it was always like you had that father energy and you were never like, this person is dumb. I never felt that from you. You were always willing to share your expertise and your patience, your kindness. So I've always learned so much from you and continue to do that.
Thank you.
So I just want to thank you for spending time and coming to the podcast today.
Mhm.
And just sharing your energy because you're always a fun, loving, kind individual. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
thank you.
You guys are the same.
It's contagious.
It is.
Yes.
It feels good to be around you, man.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Same,
Honestly,
same with you guys.
I learned more from watching you than I learned a lot from talking to you and asking you questions, but I learned just as much by watching
Yeah.
your actions
Yeah.
every day, day in, day out. So.
Walk to walk.
Thank
Yep.
you.
And you were always one of the first people in the office and always one of the first people
Last to leave.
last to leave.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And so just watching you and your actions has really been really eye-opening and informative and just like I do a lot of the things that I do because of you. So
Appreciate that.
All of us, yeah.
yeah.
Same here. You guys have influenced me, and it's been a journey. There's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and I've learned a lot from each one of you guys, and so I appreciate all of that and the kind words and inviting me to your guys' new home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see where it goes from here.
I know.
I
Me
know.
Exciting.
too. Yeah.
Well, thank you for tuning in for our 7th episode. Aaron Zwahlen. He is our guest for this week. We will have him back on in the future because I think this went very well.
Yeah.
And tune in next week.
Bye. Bye.